Okay, so, I don't know, maybe a year and a half ago, I did a video on using a K processor in a G5. And it was more just to see, hey, would it even boot up? But then I got to thinking, what if I could actually get it to work, full time, actually use that K processor in a G5, what it would look like, what are some options, is there stuff in the BIOS that maybe might allow me to underclock it, try to get it so that it's not putting out so much heat. So I picked up a G5 65 watt unit, fairly bare bones, no GPU. Came with a fan and came with the copper heatsink. And what I want to put into it is I want to pull out from this guy. It's a i7 9700K. Want to pop that in there. This is 8 core, 8 thread. It's going to require a 150 watt power supply. The nice thing is that that CPU is actually listed as one of the ones that when you originally bought a G5 you could get as, an option. Now, those that use the K processor normally have a much larger heatsink that kind of goes all the way across. So I'm going to try to use one of these, which is basically the SATA Caddy, and it's got a built-in fan. So maybe with this plus this fan plus the copper heatsink, and maybe seeing if we can underclock it, maybe we can actually have a stable system that doesn't put out so much heat and, cooks the thing. So we'll give that a try, see how that comes together, maybe run some benchmarks to compare with other of my units and see, is it worth it? Is this another option if you happen to have? That particular one was handed down to me and didn't quite know what to do with it, and so we'll give it a try, see what happens. I figure at worst, if it doesn't work, I'll just try to pick up some sort of 9th gen and stick it in this G5. We'll start by taking out the heatsink. Thankfully, I do have some memory from before the current situation in terms of cost. This one's nice and clean. I cleaned it previously because I just, got the unit. I was curious to see what the socket looked like. Clean that off. Okay, let's grab the CPU. Arrow, arrow. Okay, and then we'll put a good amount of thermal paste. If I can get this open. Took some needle nose. I'm going to put a liberal amount on here. I have not tested this fan, so hopefully that one's okay. I can always pull something off of one of my other G4s for it. Okay, let's grab some memory. All right, happen to have some of these 3200 megahertz ones here. Okay. All right, so I've got this one has the SATA cable on it. This one doesn't, so I think I'm just going to transfer. That way I'll have a, something else I can use as far as, although I'm thinking maybe I don't want this fan block or a SATA drive blocking this fan. So maybe what I want to do is, before we get too far, is install a bootable M.2. Let's find one. I like to mark them with a little squiggly line. That way I know that it's bootable. Supposedly this is bootable. We'll just stick this one in. Let's see. I think I'll do it on the side. Okay. Okay, now I can install this. Do a little. We'll still. Oh, screws are already here. Okay. Oh, that was nice. A lot of times they take those away. We'll use those then. Attach our fan. A lot of times you have to have the fan there, or otherwise you'll get a warning or error when you try to boot up, especially anything that's a 65 watt unit. Let's see. Let's see if we can still have enough. Nope. All right. Conceivably, this should be able to at least get into the BIOS with this. What do we have on our back here? So looks like it came with this, 2 standard display ports. We've got network, and then for its Flex IO is looks like yet another display port. Okay, so let's hook up power. I'm going to leave the case top off. And then, now one nice thing, of course, is because I got a 65 watt unit, it has this nice sort of perforated top case for ventilation. Do we? Let's put the top on. What the heck? Okay. One missing thing is the thumb screw. I got to figure out what to stick in here, but not a big deal. I'm opening this up so much as it is. Okay, let's hook up video, power, and let's see what we've got. I changed my mind on the case. I want to leave it open so I can make sure the fan is or both fans are working. So let's plug in power. Okay, and then we need something to push the button. Okay. Oh. Decided to boot on its own, I guess. Well, that's good. Both fans are going. Don't have video yet. Let's see what happens. Actually, oh, okay. I do have video. Oh, it's actually going right into Windows. Interesting. Well, I guess we'll just let it run. See what happens here. Well, let's see. We're inside of Windows. Okay. Let's see. Let's go to Task Manager. Okay, there's our memory. CPU, i7-9700K, 8 core. And strangely enough, the machine that is making the most noise is the unit that, that I do all my work on, the G3. But the other, the G5, is nice and quiet so far. Let's see if we could go look at some temps. Okay, so we're looking at some temps. Interesting. It shot up at some point to 75, but right now it's at 54. Granted, I don't have the case top on, and really haven't done anything as far as loads and that kind of stuff. Interesting. Well, before I get too far into it, let's see if we boot into the BIOS, if we've got some options for, I don't know, setting the clock speed or voltage, any of that sort of stuff. I also want to update the BIOS and get that up to par. Probably do the BIOS upgrade first. Here's a little hint if you're having trouble getting into the BIOS, as far as, because I always seem like either the machine's too fast or it's ignoring my escape or I'm hitting it at the wrong time. You can have Windows tell it to boot into BIOS the next time it does a restart. So let's do that. So if you go do a search for CMD, and then we want to make sure to run it as admin. And then if you type in shutdown you can see some of the particular choices, and one of them right here, /FW, combined with a shutdown to cause the next boot to go into the firmware. So we want to do a restart with firmware. Shutdown /R FW. For some reason, the first time it didn't like it, so the second time looks like this should now reboot. Perfect. Now we're in the BIOS. Let's go down to BIOS setup. Let's first update the system BIOS. Let's go do a check. Oh wow, it's ancient. Okay, yes, let's go ahead and update to 2.25. And as it usually does, it a lot of times will update this Intel Management Engine firmware at the same time. Don't be surprised if you have long breaks of just darkness like this. It will come back during the BIOS upgrade. And there's stage 2. And during the process, it may literally just turn itself off and then come back up again. Well, it after it did the BIOS upgrade, it ended up going back into Windows. But I'm just kind of curious, looking at the temps here. Wow, it shot up at one point up to 100. That may have been during the BIOS upgrade. Right now, though, it's down around the 60. Well, it's vacillating. Let's do a reboot again and go into the BIOS and see if there's some stuff we can do to lower the clock speed. Okay, we're back in. Let's go into BIOS setup. So if I look back here on main and go to system information and then advanced, it shows that the processor speed is at 3.6 gigahertz, which I believe is the low end anyway. But I think just to make sure that we're going with the sort of the slowest we can stay is I'm going to go into advanced. I'm going to go to system options. I'm going to turn off the turbo boost. That way it won't try to go to the highest speed. We'll then do we'll reboot in. We'll do a heavy load test. We'll see what that does to the temperatures. Let's go out here. Let's go to main, and we'll save changes and exit. Okay, we finished all of our Windows updates, went through a lot of stuff. Core temperatures look like it's running, probably in the high 50s, low 60s. What I want to do is I'm going to turn the unit off. I want to see, check out on kilowatt what it's actually pulling. And then I want to try out Geekbench, see what kind of numbers we get there, and also heavy load. And so here we're back into Windows. I've got the lid back on and I'm plugged into kilowatt. Surprisingly, just sitting here, at idle in Windows, it's like below 10 watts. You do have some spikes here and there that go up to as high as 37, but for the most part, it's staying under 10. So we'll see what happens when we do some heavy load. But first thing I want to do is I want to try Geekbench and see what our numbers look like. Well, we finished the Geekbench. Temperatures look really good. I mean, we're looking at 50. During the test, kilowatt probably averaged around 25 watts when it was running it. And then as far as the results, not too surprising. It has the best of the single core, 1307, but not dramatically better than my other G5, which has an i5-9500T. Now, where it really outshines is with the multi-core. It's at 6160, and we don't even have any that are even in the 5000 range. So that did really well there. So let's now try the heavy load and see what it does both for power and also for temperature. We're going to run this for 5 minutes, and we can watch as the temperatures go up, and we'll see what we get midway. I'll also look at the power. Well, right now we're at 80 watts, so that is definitely higher than your other units, but makes sense because of the type of CPU that we are using. We are currently past 92 watts for power, and looks like our core temp is around 92 also. The fans have kicked in. It's definitely noticeably louder now. Hopefully that will help bring some of the temperatures down. Okay, we're coming up to the end of the test. The fans did help to bring down the temps. Okay, we stopped the heavy load. Right away, you can see the temperatures are dropping. Wattage is down around the 30 range. And significantly, you could definitely hear the fans whirring away, cooling down the CPU. We'll give it a couple minutes and we'll see what happens. After about 2 minutes or so, it's dropped probably 30 degrees, and the power is now in I would say the mid-teens for wattage. think that's pretty good as far as a recovery, especially for that type of processor. So this is a nice unit. As far as the CPU, it didn't cost me anything. It looked like on eBay, I think that particular CPU is running about 130. I got this bare bones G5 for about 50. So that's pretty nice. I mean, obviously the memory these days is probably the most expensive. Happen to have some of that around. Also happen to have the additional caddy fan. So that also helps. So maybe this might be an option, especially let's say you have someone that's got an old gaming rig. Maybe they've got a K processor or something in there, and maybe something that you could integrate in with your mini PC. Let me know anyone else that's used a K processor in their unit.